Hi, and welcome to ScreenPlay, where we discuss elements of pop culture for the community. I'm your host, Carrie Heisinga, filling in for Noah Bailey. Today on the show, we'll be joined by guest Alejandra Padilla, who's going to be talking about Bob Marley, and a first-timer on our show, Heather Soto, who'll be sharing her review of the young adult novel, Life and Death. But before we start the interviews, let's watch an edited piece starring Christian Hubbard. It's time for Christian's Comic Corner. Let's take a look.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Comic Corner, the show where I, A's resident comic savant Christian Hubbard, break down any and all things superhero. Now, guys, this last week was nuts. Within the matter of 7 days, we got new episodes of Supergirl, The Flash, Agent Carter, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow, along with an hour-long documentary commemorating Captain America's 75th anniversary, a behind-the-scenes look at the making of Legends of Tomorrow, new Deadpool and BVS trailers, and the main event, a special look at the upcoming DC Extended Universe titled Dawn of the Justice League. Now, during this special, which was hosted by Kevin Smith and Jeff Johns, we got our first looks at Cyborg, Aquaman, The Flash, and Green Lantern through basic concept art, footage of the 2017 film Wonder Woman, and commentary from the cast of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, including Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill. Now, while all that was incredible, the biggest reveal we received this week was the brand new Suicide Squad trailer, which, when broken down, revealed a whole lot. We got a sort of an unnecessary confirmation that the Joker is not, in fact, a member of the Suicide Squad, but one of the main antagonists. We also got our very first look at the mysterious Tattooed Man, played by Chicago legendary hip-hop artist Common. Now, while some people may point at the DC universe being a darker counterpart to Marvel, this trailer displayed quick wit and humor that accompanies that comic book film genre, from Harley Quinn mentioning the voices in her head, to the squad members punching cops in the face on sight, to Captain Boomerang cracking a beer open in the middle of some sort of weird battle. Suicide Squad is a film centered around psychopaths and murderers, but there will be some laughs in order for the audience to become attached and root for these crazy people. Now, my own personal favorite scene in this trailer was what I saw as the depiction of Harley Quinn's origin. Now, in the comics, she was a therapist working to rehabilitate inmates in Arkham Asylum. She ultimately falls in love with the Joker and then loses her marbles after Joker dumps her into a vat of acid after torturing her mind for several hours. Now, I'm calling it right now. We will see shades of her origin in this film, based on that weird Joker and Harley swimming around in some gross-looking liquid scene about halfway through the trailer. Now, that's all the time I got for you guys in this week's edition of Comic Corner. Go ahead and give us a follow over at AU Spartan Media, and until next time, live long and prosper.
And now it's time for our first guest, Heather, who will be sharing her review of Stephanie Meyer's novel, Life and Death. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. It's your first time, isn't it, today?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Okay, so you tell me about the book.
So basically what it is, it's basically Twilight, but with the gender roles flipped. So now the vampire is a girl and the the girl's a boy. So it's really interesting, though. She did a really good job of flipping the gender. So it's literally Twilight, just with the roles flipped.
So there's no major then comparison to it that's different. It's just really
right.
The genders are swapped.
It's literally the same book, but with different genders, which really does change the book. Like, I mean, the way she wrote it, it's really well written. You can really follow along, and you don't even question the fact that the genders were flipped. So, like, she did a really good job of, like, making it flow really well. So.
How did you feel about the genders then being flipped?
I liked it. I thought it was a really interesting concept. However, I don't think it was as good as Twilight.
Okay.
There was just some parts of it that kind of made it seem more obsessive. Like the relationship, it just seemed a little bit more obsessive, a little bit of, I wouldn't say like abuse, but like there was like, it was hinting at it a little bit too much in that one, and the Life and Death one. Whereas like in Twilight, I feel like it kind of, you thought it was a little obsessive, but at the same time, like you didn't really see it as much. But with this book, it was like really more apparent. So I was like, I don't know if I really liked that. Like,
okay,
not one of my favorite parts.
Is there any positive elements that you think came from it though, besides it being like well written? Is there anything that really stuck out to you, I guess, as being cool and interesting and new?
What I thought was like really interesting was like, I mean, the fact that she was able to take a book that you really do think is supposed to be a girl and a boy falling in love, and it's, out of the girl's point of view, and she really made it work for switching it. So it's like, I don't think a lot of people could do that, so she really was able to put you in a completely different mindset. The only reason that I knew what was going to happen was because I read Twilight. So she made it like a completely different book, but just with the same like milestones in the book.
Okay. So could you think this will then translate later into a movie? Or no, because it's already kind of been done then with Twilight?
No, I mean,
Okay.
honestly, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say this is better than Twilight, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, take a look at it for yourself, but I don't think it would be better than Twilight. I just think it's something that would be interesting to read.
Yeah. Does she have any other new books coming out?
I wish.
You wish.
When she wrote this one, she gave you like a little letter to everyone, and she said how she didn't finish Midnight Sun yet, which is basically out of Edward's point of view.
Oh, wow.
Right, so interesting. It's a beautiful first half of the book. She hasn't finished it yet because she said it just has a lot of work to go for it, and she really wants to really do a really good job on it. And then for a continuation off of Breaking Dawn, she just said she hasn't started anything with that yet, so yeah.
Well, thank you, Heather. I appreciate you telling us about that today. Well, I'll definitely check that out. Okay, and now it's time for our second edited piece. One of our writers, Anthony Pauls, decided to do a video game review on Saboteur. Anthony, how do you say that?
The Saboteur.
Saboteur. Let's look.
Back in the 2000s, World War II games were a dime a dozen. Mostly comprised of shooters and strategy games, you had to do something different to get noticed. Enter the Saboteur, a third-person open-world game from developer Pandemic Studios. It was released back in 2009 and is the last game from said developer before they closed down. So, is it an unsung hero of the World War II games, or should it just be buried within the depths of history? Let's find out. The story follows Sean Devlin, an Irish race car driver who goes on a quest for revenge after his best friend is murdered. During his quest, he's approached by a member of the French resistance who asks him to join and sabotage the Nazis. He reluctantly joins and begins taking the country back one mission at a time. While I do enjoy the whole ordinary man extraordinary situation arc, it's not enough to save the story. It does a good job of explaining why you need to do what you do, but certain plot lines don't really lead to any significant payoff. These involve getting a person or an item, but once you get them, they don't add anything to the story and are never mentioned again. These lead to the game's disappointing climax. No spoilers here, but once you get to it, you'll realize it's a bit of a letdown. The game fares better visually. It starts off completely in black and white to symbolize the Nazis' grip on the country and the people's lack of will to fight. As you complete missions, color eventually returns into the world, and so does the will. The comparison between color and black and white is like night and day. In color, the game looks pretty decent, nothing mind-blowing, but it certainly gets the job done. However, it's nothing compared to the black and white. The entire map is covered in, with the exception of the red from Nazi flag. This really gives off a sense of oppression, and it looks really nice to boot. In order to free France, Sean must commit as much sabotage as possible. Thankfully, he has access to a black market of guns, explosives, and cars to help him out. The weapons and vehicles handle pretty well, but don't go thinking you're Rambo because of it. If you do anything suspicious, like pull out a gun, climb a building, or plant explosives in view of the Nazis, a suspicion meter will fill up. If it fills up all the way, then an alarm will sound and a small army of enemies will descend upon you, thus forcing you to make a quick escape. This helps reinforce the fact that you are an ordinary man fighting against a much larger force, and it works pretty well.
And now we're back with our second guest. She's here to talk to us about reggae music legend Bob Marley. No strangers at the show, here's Alejandra. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.
So today you're going to tell us about Bob Marley.
Yes.
Okay.
So his birthday's coming up on Saturday, so I decided, just to talk about him, only because I feel like stereotypically I don't think a lot of people know much about Bob Marley other than kind of like the things that they've seen through media. So I don't think that sheds a light as to how great of a legend he actually was. So I pretty much talked about his life. He grew up in poverty, but he actually, in that poverty, he made great music. He saw inspiration and beauty in his hometown, even though it was considered like ghetto and very dangerous. And he's a very great political figure as well, and actually fought a lot for Jamaican rights. and kind of inspired this whole genre of reggae and ska and just influenced music so greatly. So I think that's really cool.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what he did for civil rights or just some of the impact he had?
Yeah, of course. He was, well, specifically with one of his music, No Woman, No Cry. The royalties to that song till this day actually go straight to a soup kitchen in Jamaica. Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool. His friend, Vincent Ford, actually was with him while he was creating the song. They were at the soup kitchen creating the song together, and he decided to give him royalties to it, or song credit to him, just to ensure that he was going to have financial stability for the soup kitchen. So that was really cool of him to do and very generous.
Yes.
He pretty much always gave back to his community all the time. He won a United Nations Peace Medal for standing up for Jamaican rights as well, fighting for them. And I mean, he's just done a lot of great things and inspired a lot of different people. So it's really cool. What's another thing that I wrote about? I forget though.
That's okay.
So there's so much.
No, there's
stuff,
so much. You can already
I'm
tell
like,
just
how can
from
I
that.
say?
I had no idea, like all the royalties went to that soup kitchen, and still today.
Yep,
even
till this day. Yep. He also has his One Love.
Great song.
It's a non-profit actually as well that his family started, and it's a charity. So they've done a bunch of fundraisings and things like that, and it's still, since he was alive till now as well with his family, that have created a lot of different charities and fundraising for different causes, humanitarian causes. And I just think he's just a great inspiration politically. He's an inspiration for artists, for humanitarians and activists. One of the things that I read about was actually in 2011 for the Occupy. They actually used his lyrics for the protest, so that was pretty cool.
Well, thank you so much. I learned so much today. Thank you both. Okay, now we're going to break it down. It's time for screen time. Okay, screen time. In this segment, pop culture topics are chosen from a pool of submissions, and then we'll have a short amount of time to talk about them, 60 seconds to be exact. And when the time's up, the topic will be thrown out, and we'll move on to the next chosen submission. You guys ready?
Ready.
Let's begin. Now bear with me. I'm not Noah, so if I do this wrong, we'll just throw the timer out too. Okay, so 1 minute set. Valentine's Day. Anybody? I'm having a Galentine's Day.
That works. My friend's having an anti-Valentine's Day party.
Ooh.
Yep. So
What would you do at an anti-Valentine's?
I don't know, to be quite honest.
Make
out.
Valentines and then just like rip them up.
Just kind of like, was it that movie that they had an anti-Valentine's Day and she had a piñata? I forgot what it was. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about. I
Yeah,
don't
but she
remember
had
the movie.
a big giant like heart-shaped piñata, and then she just started like
Ripped
hacking
it
it.
apart.
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel
there was
like-
like a wedding in the next venue over.
Yeah.
or
I
something.
know. Oh, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I just can't remember what it's called.
It'll
but
come back. We'll think about it. It'll pop up probably at the end of screen time. We'll be like,
You know what I am excited though? All the candy going on sale
Yes.
after Valentine's Day.
that's the best part of any holiday.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think we're going to
The
celebrate
candy.
Valentine's Day, the day after.
Yes.
That's what
The
I'm
celebration
celebrating.
of candy.
Yeah, February 15th.
Yes. Oh, next one. Okay. Minute. Start. The Super Bowl.
Yay! For the parties and the commercials.
Yes. For
Yeah.
let's talk about the halftime show, since this is, or like the people who are going to be there, since it is a culture show.
Yes. So I recently found out that Lady Gaga was going to do the national anthem.
Ooh.
So that is really
Love me
great.
some Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know that she has such a powerful
Oh,
voice.
it's
No.
gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, she's not just the queen of pop, but
No.
I mean, she's very versatile in her singing and acting and stuff. She's really good.
Oh, do we have time for one more? No? Well, guys, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you had such wonderful things to discuss today, and I learned a lot, and I'm sure the people at home did too. And that concludes this episode of ScreenPlay. Join us next time for more talk about pop culture and things going on in the community. If you'd like to show your love for ScreenPlay, or you have suggestions for us, or if you'd like to be on the show, you can. You can also go on to Twitter at the hashtag AU Screenplay and tweet what you'd like, or check us out on AU Spartan Media. Thank you so much to Heather and Alejandra for coming on the show today. I'm Carrie Huizinga, and until next time.